This is Loud. Still to come on the program, interviews with Dave and Steve from Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson was actually here for the Much Music Video Awards, and man, was he a little testy. He got all up in arms with the fact that Much Music doesn't play hard music, yada, 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 yada. The funny thing is, he's obviously never seen Loud, and ironically, that a couple of guys from Maiden will be co-hosting in this next segment. Another funny thing about Bruce was he talked about how metal has always been the underground, and that's true, but Maiden has always been embraced by the big guys, without a doubt, but that's okay, because he still was in Maiden, and that's totally cool. So why don't we take care of it? Yeah, let's do some Maiden right about now. It's the royalty of rock and roll. Iron Maiden. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Let's start with this then. Let's go back to prior to signing with Rod, prior to all that, when Paul got busted with the knife, having to go on stage.
Blimey, that's going about the bit.
Yeah, go back. And you had to sing, right?
Well, sort of, yeah. I'm not exactly a good singer, really. I mean, I just sort of croak a bit in the background vocals, really. But, of course, you know, I wrote most of the words, so I know the words. So I had to do something. I mean, what could we do? Half the set was like instrumental, and the rest I just sort of croaked out, really. I mean, I'm not exactly the world's best singer, so it was quite funny, really. It's quite funny.
We still went for it, though. I mean, I think we stood up there, but actually we went for it even more because Paul wasn't there. And,
yeah,
we just extended some of the instrumental parts and, you know, and stuff. But yeah, at the time it was like, okay, you know, what we're going to do now then. I think that's when Rod turned up, didn't he?
Yeah, he just liked the attitude, the fact that we just got up there and done it and, you know, just got on with it, really.
And so you go back to that point and you think, you know, the events leading up to the signing, which was, you know, getting the deal and turning into what Iron Maiden has turned into over all these years. Back then, could you have ever imagined that this is where you'd be in the year 2000?
No, not at all. I think we weren't even thinking beyond the first album, really. We was just hoping to get an album made and do like a UK tour, weren't we, really?
Yeah.
You know, or actually hopefully get on a tour with somebody or something like that.
Yeah, you're looking from like gigs to gig, because we were working at the time, we had day jobs, so, you know, a thing like Steve, I arrange a few gigs and then, you know, the big gig, you know, one a week, sort of minimal, really. And that's what we was looking at, really, you know, just getting around and playing, and hence we were going up and down the country and gradually building up a little kind of cult following there. You know, we had a few pundits that come to see us, you know, specifically, and so it kind of started the thing rolling. You know.
And here's where you are now. You've got the next record out, which Kerrang! Magazine, probably no surprise to you, but a lot of people were shocked when Kerrang! Came right out and said, this is the best Iron Maiden album ever.
Well, I don't tend to believe that too much, really, from them, because, you know, they've sort of slagged us off in the past, and, you know, the same people may well be slagging us off in 2 years' time, so, you know, you don't take it that seriously, really, but, I mean, yeah, if they say nice things, it's nice. Doing really well, the albums did well. I mean, you know, got the #1 album in Spain, and that didn't the album before last and stuff like that, you know, so fantastic, really. I mean, so loyal, you know, just totally behind the band, you know, which is what you need in times like that when things, you know, are, you know, press are getting on your back a little bit, and, you know, and things are a bit sort of awkward. Bit of a downtime, I suppose, and that's when you need a bit of help. Yeah, and we certainly got it, didn't we, really? You know, yeah. It's just amazing, you know.
It's been so consistent over there, even like in the early 80s when we first got the deal and started touring there a bit more, there was still, you know, huge crowds. And, you know, and the kids, like, there's still bootlegs around, flying around from that period, you know, 1980, 81, 82. And they come up to you now and they've got them, you know, like 20-odd years later. So.
You guys are trying to get your hands on them.
Yeah, well, in fact, we've got them. Yeah, we've got them. Oh, yeah. No, in fact, they come up and they give you them. So we've got a collection of a few of those early gigs from that period, yeah. But I say the consistency is they've always been there right from the beginning, that cult following. Even if it could be possibly, you know, a new generation of fans now, you know, they're just... You know, they just have always been there, so it's been fantastic.
I think there's been a big difference because, you know, in Europe definitely, you know, there's been like a lot of new young fans. I mean, it's like Scandinavia, for example, I mean, it's just like loads of new young fans, you know. And I think that's what we've sort of lost a bit of ground, like Canada and the States, really. You know, we haven't really picked up as many new young fans, really. I think we're starting to get some again now, but I think we sort of, you know, we've still got hardcore fans, but not new young fans. We're all the time in Europe and South America and Japan, we just always keep getting new young fans, as well as keeping, you know, some of the old ones as well. So it's been very healthy, you know, for our career, you know.
Sure. I want to talk to you about the new fans. I also want to talk to you about the lyrics on this record and how it's changed more with Iron Maiden. When we come back, this is Maiden on Loud. Crowd continues. The guys from Iron Maiden are here on the world tour as they continue. The record, this one, lyrically, Maiden has always been about telling stories, I thought. And depending on what the topic was, it was telling a story. Listening to the lyrics on this album, it almost sounds like you've gone a little bit more personal with some of the things you're talking about. Blood Brothers is a great example of a song which is just almost a plea for humanity.
Yeah. Well, we started doing that kind of stuff a few albums ago, I suppose. Obviously we've always touched on the historical stuff and all that, and we still do a bit of that here and there. But yeah, I suppose there's been so many things going on in and around the world, it's a bit difficult not to be influenced by it, really. So it's just going to come out in the writing. And obviously the fact that we've been on the road constantly, for the last 3 years, isn't it, really? On and off. But I suppose, we haven't really had too many days at home, and so all the things that you're out there seeing, and seeing it all go on and stuff like that, and it influences your writing.
Back when Prowler was #1, when it first hit #1, you take a look at the top 10 records of that time. I think Iron Maiden was also 7 when Prowler was 1, and Rush was on the list. But Van Halen and other bands who have just fallen away, haven't been able to maintain, yet there still seems to be that, that level where this new generation of metal fans, I was interviewing a punk band the other day called Sum 41 from this area, and they couldn't get enough of Maiden, and they're a punk band, and you can actually hear Maiden in the punk now. So it's a completely different extension of what metal has become.
Loads of people coming up to saying, you influenced them and all that kind of stuff, and it's a compliment, definitely. Whatever kind of music they're playing makes you feel proud, really, in a way, doesn't it, when they sort of come up and say stuff like that. And sometimes it's like you say, different bands you wouldn't expect, the kind of music they play, you wouldn't expect it. And heavily into Maiden, so it's nice, yeah, very nice.
About heavy metal that really does work for you?
I think it's just, I suppose it's something they can let off steam to. They can go to a gig and let off steam, and it's not something that's like a violent sort of thing. It's just a pure, positive aggression. They can go and have a good time, and I think it's interesting stuff. I think it's not, it's not just run-of-the-mill type of stuff. I think it's something that you have to listen to a little bit more, It's also, I suppose, in some ways over the years, still is really sort of outcast kind of music. People tend to look down on it, and I think that appeals to some, people that the fact that, they're maybe a bit different or whatever and stuff like that. But I think ultimately, it's just the music, is strong kind of music. So it's the sort of stuff that people can just go and really have a good time to, but it's got more to it than that, it's just a bit more depth.
I think for us as well, individually as players, we can individually express yourself, and collectively as a band we can just really go out there and let it all go, and this is what Steve said as well, the fans, the interaction, so we're up there giving everything and they're out there singing and playing all the riffs, and so we come off stage exhausted, and I think they walk away elated and
exhausted as well, hopefully, yeah.
And also it's a great adrenaline high, and it's pure, there's we go out there and just go for it.
Are you still a big fan of metal music?
Oh yeah, I still like the stuff that from years ago. Definitely. I like some of the new stuff as well. But certainly, all the stuff that we grew up on. Although a lot of it wasn't even metal, really. We were listening to anything from like Moody Blues to Black Sabbath. It's quite sort of extreme types of music. So, I suppose in our era of growing up, like the '70s stuff was, you could go to the Reading Festival and you could see totally extreme bands on the same bill. And there wasn't the sort of thing attached to it like where you had to like one type of band or one sort of category or whatever. We could like whatever, and it didn't really matter.
Is there a band in metal that you like to this day that's relatively new? Perhaps you've played with them.
What, new bands or old bands?
New bands.
Yeah, I really like Typo Negative, actually. I like the sort of stuff they're doing. Whether they're regarded as metal or whatever, but yeah, I like a lot of their stuff. get often the impression as well, bands like, you know, Slipknot and people like that. You know, I prefer a lot more melody in the stuff that I listen to, really, but I can totally get off on the aggression as well, you know. I can see why people really like it. So there's all different sorts of stuff going on now. I think it's pretty interesting, you know. But for me, you know, I really like melody. You know, grew up with bands with melody. You know, people like you know, Zeppelin and Rush and ELP, Jethro Tull, and all, you know, kind of stuff like that, as well as the heavier bands like Sabbath and people like that. So, but even I mean, Sabbath got loads of melody. So, you know, that's what I like. That's what I prefer to listen to. Pure aggression alone is not enough for me.
Cool. All right, let's do some Typo Negative. We'll be back to wrap up with Iron Maiden. This is Typo on Loud. All right, welcome back to Loud as we wrap up with the guys from Iron Maiden. Thank you very much for joining us. What's the one thing that you've taken with you throughout your entire career?
Hopefully, honesty.
Honestly, aside from Eddie, I guess, right?
No, Eddie, yeah, well, he takes us with him, I think. more like, yeah.
Could you have ever known when you created Eddie that this is what it would turn into?
Not really, no. I mean, I think it wasn't really like that. It wasn't. It was created. It was just. It was something that we did. You know, it was like a thing that we had in the early days where one of the old singers used to be a big fan of Kiss and used to pull a sword through his mouth with blood capsules and all that, and which was great fun, you know. But then when he left, we didn't really want to do it within the band, so we just thought, well, we'd rather just do it with like some sort of mask or something. And it was just a mould of one of the roadies' faces to start with. You know, and we just, you know,
forever immortalized.
An ugly side, but yeah. But you know, it started off with that, and just had blood capsules coming out the mouth for that, and the eyes used to light up and stuff like that. And then it just sort of went from that, and it sort of went into Eddie. So it wasn't like something we just was looking for this icon or something. It just sort of turned into that. I think if you're actually trying to find something, look for something, and that maybe never really works like that. But it sort of came along naturally, really, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just grown from album to album. You know, it looks pretty young for his age. He's only, what, 25 years old, I think.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's better than something in on Peace of Mind.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Peace of Mind was a tough time in the world of Eddie. Favorite Maiden video we should play?
I don't know, it's a tough question, isn't it? I don't know.
New one?
Oh, wait, we'll play a new one if you want.
Yeah, play the new one, that'd be a nice one. Yeah, yeah, that would do.
What about the making of it? Because to get the director was kind of neat. He wrote you a note, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. It was weird. Well, you can tell him about that because it was.
Yeah, well, in fact, one of my friends I played golf with, he actually is friends with Dean, and so he sent me his stuff, video stuff, and I gave it to you know, the management. And then it's strange because then Rod gave me a call like a month later. They'd lost the videotapes, lost the telephone number, you know. So I you know, got a number back, and then they just hooked up, and we got him, you know. So yeah, I mean, to use him because he's great, he's very creative, and I think he's done a fantastic job on the new video.
The good thing about it as well is he's a big fan of the band, so he really wanted to work with us. And we didn't know, I mean, you know, obviously we're from the other side of the pond, we didn't know what he'd done over here, really, you know, we didn't know he was like this big time, you know, sort of video, you know, guy, and so it was quite funny story, really, because obviously, you know, he wanted to work with us and stuff, and the record company, you know, in the States was saying, oh, I don't think you'll get him because he's so busy and he's so sought after and all this, and he'd already been in touch with us to say, look, mate, you know, I've always wanted to work with Maiden, I'm a big fan and all this, so it was quite funny, really.
Yeah, it's a great way to turn that, yeah.
Certainly. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
We appreciate that.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
To wrap up Loud, thank you. Brand new Maiden on March.